Hey there, welcome to Smart Home Independence. I'm David, and 3 years ago, I found myself standing in my kitchen, completely blank on why I'd walked in there. Keys in hand, staring at the refrigerator, wondering if I was getting food, medicine, or something else entirely. It wasn't just normal forgetfulness. At 67, my early-stage dementia diagnosis had started to transform everyday tasks into frustrating puzzles. That was until my daughter installed this small, unassuming device on my counter. "Dad," she said, "just talk to it. Tell Alexa what you need to remember." That little cylinder changed everything. Today, I want to share how voice assistants became not just a convenience, but a lifeline for my independence. You know, I was never what you'd call tech-savvy. Smartphones confuse me, and computers. Well, let's just say my grandkids stopped asking me for help with their homework online years ago. When my daughter suggested a voice assistant might help with my memory issues, I laughed it off. "Another gadget to forget how to use," I told her. But here's the thing about voice technology that nobody told me. There's almost nothing to learn. No screens to navigate, no buttons to press in the right sequence, no passwords to remember. Just talking. And if there's one thing I can still do well, it's talk. My first week with Alexa was awkward. I'd stare at this little device, feeling silly saying, "Alexa," out loud in an empty room. I'd forget the commands or speak too quietly. But unlike other technology that punishes mistakes with error messages or frozen screens, voice assistants are surprisingly forgiving. They just ask you to try again. No judgment, no frustration. I started small. "Alexa, remind me to take my medication at 8 a.m. When that cheerful voice chimed the next morning, right on time, something clicked. This wasn't just another gadget. This was technology that worked the way my mind used to work, through simple conversation. Over time, I've developed what I call my external memory system. It's not just about random reminders anymore. It's a carefully constructed safety net for my thoughts. Every morning now starts the same way. "Alexa, what day is it today?" It's such a simple question, but for someone with memory issues, knowing if it's Tuesday or Wednesday can be the difference between making it to a doctor's appointment or missing it entirely. I follow that with, "Alexa, what's on my calendar today?" And just like that, my day has structure again. For medications, I've set up multiple reminders. "Alexa, remind me to take my blood pressure pill at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. The consistency is crucial, same times, same phrasing. When memory fails, routine becomes your best friend. But the real game changer came when I discovered I could create my own personalized commands. "Alexa, help me remember where I put my glasses." Now when I say that, she responds with, "You usually leave them on the small table by your recliner or on top of your head." My daughter programmed these custom responses, tailored to my specific habits and needs. For someone with memory challenges, this is revolutionary. I'm not adapting to the technology is adapting to me. Voice assistants do far more than just remind me to take pills or go to appointments. They've become active partners in keeping my mind engaged. Every morning, I ask, "Alexa, tell me a fact about today in history." It's become a ritual that gives me something interesting to think about and maybe share with my neighbor when we have coffee. I've set up daily brain teasers too. "Alexa, give me a riddle," often leads to a few minutes of mental exercise that feels more like fun than therapy. Music has always been important to me, and research shows it can be particularly beneficial for those with cognitive issues. "Alexa, play songs from the 1960s, instantly fills my home with memories from my youth. Sometimes a song will trigger recollections I thought were long gone. The scent of my wife's perfume as we danced to Stand By Me at our wedding. The feel of my daughter's tiny hand in mine as we listened to Here Comes the Sun on Sunday mornings. I've also created routines that help with time orientation. Alexa, good morning, triggers a sequence that tells me the time, weather, news headlines, and my appointments for the day. It grounds me in the present while preparing me for what's ahead. For those of us with memory challenges, disorientation can be frightening. These little touch points throughout the day keep me connected to time and place in a way that feels natural and supportive. There's something profoundly emotional about losing your memory. It's not just forgetting where you put your keys, it's the slow erosion of your independence, your identity. Every time someone has to remind you of something you should know, you feel a little smaller, a little less yourself. What my voice assistant has given back to me isn't just information, it's dignity. When I can manage my own medication schedule without calling my daughter 3 times a day. When I can remember my neighbor's name without that awkward pause. When I can confidently head to an appointment without triple-checking the date. I feel like myself again. There was a moment, about 6 months after getting my first Echo device, when my daughter came to visit. She started to remind me about an upcoming doctor's appointment, and I interrupted her with, Tuesday at 2 p.m. with Dr. Levine. Alexa reminded me this morning. The look on her face, this mixture of surprise and pride, I'll never forget it. For the first time in years, I wasn't the one who needed help. I was handling things on my own terms. And that's what technology should do, especially for seniors and those with cognitive challenges. It shouldn't complicate our lives. It should quietly, respectfully, give us back pieces of ourselves that we thought were lost forever. Now, I want to share some practical advice for setting up a voice assistant system that actually works for memory support, whether it's for yourself or a loved one. First, location matters more than you might think. I have my primary Echo in the kitchen, the hub of my home, but I've added smaller devices in the bedroom and living room too. This means help is never more than a few words away, no matter where I am. If budget is a concern, start with one device in the room where you spend most of your waking hours. Second, take time to personalize the wake word and voice. I chose Alexa because it's easy for me to pronounce clearly, but you might prefer computer or another option. And experimenting with different voice options can make a big difference in comprehension. I found the slightly slower, female voice easiest to understand. Third, build your system gradually. Don't try to set up dozens of reminders and routines on day one. Start with a single, important daily reminder. Medications are a good place to begin. Once that becomes habit, add another layer. This prevents overwhelm for both the user and any family members helping with setup. Fourth, leverage family involvement thoughtfully. My daughter set up my initial system, but she made sure I was part of the process, learning as we went. She also created a simple one-page guide with my most common commands that I keep next to my favorite chair. Having this reference reduced my anxiety about doing it wrong or forgetting how to use the system. Finally, don't underestimate the power of custom commands. The Find My Glasses example I mentioned earlier is just the beginning. We've programmed responses to where is my wallet? When did I last refill my prescription? And even, what was the name of the book my friend recommended? These custom solutions address your specific memory challenges, not generic ones. Let's be honest, voice assistant technology isn't perfect, especially for seniors with cognitive issues. There have been plenty of frustrating moments along my journey. Voice recognition can be challenging, particularly if you have a speech impediment, strong accent, or soft voice. I've found that speaking slightly slower rather than louder improves recognition. Positioning the device at eye level rather than looking down at it also helps tremendously. Privacy concerns are valid too. I was initially uncomfortable with the idea of something always listening in my home. My solution was to use the physical mute button when I have visitors who might share the same concern. I also regularly delete my voice history using simple voice commands. Alexa, delete what I just said, or Alexa, delete everything I've said today. Internet outages used to derail my entire system until I learned that basic alarms and timers will still function without a connection. Now I maintain a simple backup plan, a whiteboard in the kitchen with essential reminders, just in case technology fails. There's also the challenge of changing needs as cognitive issues progress. What works in early stages may need adjustment later. The key is flexibility, reassessing and adapting the system every few months with help from family or caregivers. Perhaps the biggest limitation I've encountered is the social stigma. Some of my friends see relying on technology as somehow giving in to aging or cognitive decline. But I've come to see it differently. Technology isn't replacing my memory. It's compensating for a medical condition, just like my reading glasses compensate for presbyopia. There's no shame in using the tools available to maintain independence. Voice technology has implications far beyond memory support. For many seniors like me, it's becoming central to our ability to age in place, to stay in our homes safely and independently as we grow older. Smart home integration has added layers of security and convenience I never imagined. My lights now turn on automatically when I enter a room and off when I leave, reducing fall risk and eliminating the need to remember to conserve electricity. My thermostat adjusts based on time of day without any input from me. And yes, I've even set up voice-controlled locks that let me verify my doors are secure without getting out of bed at night. The emergency response capabilities provide peace of mind for both me and my family. With a simple, Alexa, call for help, I can reach my emergency contacts. No need to remember phone numbers or even locate a phone in a crisis. For seniors living alone, this feature alone justifies the entire system. The social connection aspect shouldn't be overlooked either. I can make voice calls to my daughter without navigating a smartphone screen. I can drop in on my sister's Echo device for quick check-ins. These frictionless social interactions help combat the isolation that often accompanies aging and cognitive decline. There's a ripple effect on caregiver burden too. My daughter no longer needs to call multiple times daily to remind me about medications or appointments. She can check my shopping list remotely and add items I might have forgotten. This reduction in oversight tasks has transformed our relationship. We spend our time together actually being father and daughter again, not patient and caregiver. As I've embraced voice technology, I can't help but wonder about what comes next. The field is evolving rapidly, with new features and capabilities emerging almost monthly. AI advancements are making these systems increasingly conversational and intuitive. New voice assistants can maintain context across multiple questions, making interactions feel more natural. They're getting better at distinguishing between similar-sounding commands and understanding natural speech patterns, even when we stumble over words. Health monitoring integration is particularly promising for those with cognitive issues. some systems can now detect changes in voice patterns that might indicate health concerns, including cognitive decline. Imagine a voice assistant that could notice subtle changes in speech clarity or memory function and alert healthcare providers before a crisis occurs. Personalization continues to improve as well. Rather than one-size-fits-all solutions, we're moving toward systems that learn individual habits, preferences, and needs. My voice assistant already recognizes when I'm repeating a question I've asked recently and gently reminds me that we've covered this topic before. For those with progressing dementia or more severe cognitive challenges, simplified interfaces are being developed. These focus on the most essential functions with clear, straightforward language and abundant patience for repetition. What excites me most is the potential for these technologies to evolve alongside us, adapting as our needs change, growing more helpful as our challenges increase. For the first time, technology seems to be moving in a direction that prioritizes human needs over technical capabilities. When I think back to that confused moment in my kitchen 3 years ago, I'm struck by how far I've come. Voice assistance hasn't cured my cognitive challenges, but it's given me tools to navigate around them with dignity and independence. For anyone facing memory issues, whether it's normal aging, mild cognitive impairment, or dementia, I want you to know that technology doesn't have to be intimidating. It can be as simple as having a conversation. You don't need to be tech savvy. You just need to be willing to try something new. And for family members watching someone you love struggle with memory, consider how voice technology might restore some independence without adding complexity. The best assistive technology is the kind that fades into the background, supporting without intruding. I still have good days and bad days with my memory. That's the nature of my condition. But now, even on the bad days, I have a patient, consistent companion that never tires of my repeated questions, never judges my forgetfulness, and never makes me feel less than whole. If you're interested in setting up a similar system for yourself or a loved one, I've shared some step-by-step guides on our website. And in next week's video, I'll be talking specifically about how to create custom commands for unique memory challenges. Until then, remember that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around. The best innovations are the ones that help us remain ourselves, even when parts of ourselves begin to fade. This is David from Smart Home Independence, signing off. And yes, Alexa reminded me to say that.